I'm content creator Sally Eslin, the founder of Empowered Clothing. I'm dedicated to empower women entrepreneurs by sharing tools, tips, and resources through leadership, mindset, and more on my show, Finding Your Way with Sally. Hi, everyone. Yes, here I am. It's Sally, and I'm a content creator and founder of Empowered Clothing. I share authentic and everyday issues for women over 50. So you can learn more about my fashion products and services at empoweredclothing.com.au. So today's topic is one that's very close to my heart, how to grow through what you go through. And I've had a lot of growing. And today we'll be chatting with Paul Woodward, who's a superannuation and insurances expert. So before I bring up Paul, I thought growing through what you go through links very much into journaling. And, I've got this 30-day wellness mindset journal and bringing things up and out, jotting down what you're feeling, your emotions, and letting it out is a really powerful way to help you grow through what you're going through. So without further ado, let me bring up Paul. And as I'm doing that, I'll just read a short little bio and intro all about this beautiful person, Paul. So Paul Woodward is a seasoned financial planner and the driving force behind Superannuation and Insurances Proprietary Limited. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Sally.
So yes, you're a reputable firm in the industry. You have a focus on superannuation and personal insurance. Your expertise lies in helping individuals secure their financial future and protect their income through comprehensive coverage. With a wealth of knowledge and a client-centric approach, he empowers his clients to make informed decisions and achieve long-term financial stability. Oh, welcome, Paul. I think that may have been Puppy welcoming us in too, or a dog in the background.
I'm laughing so much because that's the one thing you were worried about. You said, no, if I close the door, Poppy's going to bark. And then as soon as you start, she starts barking.
Oh, no, and she's just knocked something over. What did I just say before? Don't work with dogs and don't work with children.
Yeah, that's right.
So welcome. Superannuation insurances. How did you get into that?
Well, that's an interesting story because I was studying how to do the stock market, trade the share market. And I was out one night with one of my brother's friends. And he asked me what I did. I said, oh, I'm studying the stock market. He said, why? He said, well, I want to make money. I'm sick of just struggling. And he turned around to me and said, well, that's not how you make money. Here's my business card.
Yeah.
And so I called him on Monday. And by Friday, he set me up in a business, like P2 Ltd, and was taking me under his wing and showing me how to do financial planning.
Wow. And you never look back, hey? Now you've made mega millions. So our topic today is how to grow through what you go through. And so you've brought along an empowerment share that says challenging the tenets of your Catholic faith led you to seek deeper understanding and answers, which led to your quest for truth continuing in this mad business world. Navigating government control became a new frontier in your pursuit of clarity and empowerment. Would you like to share a little bit more about that? Expand upon that.
Yeah, okay. So I think that most people, they brought into this world and then they try to do the best they can do. They're good, honest, ethical people. And as you start growing up, you're getting all of these messages from all over the place. And unfortunately, a lot of those messages are not very powerful messages. A lot of them are actually designed to keep you stuck where you are. And I suppose the biggest one for me in my earlier years was the Catholic Church. And I know that I really wanted to do the faith. I followed it. I went to church every Sunday, but something just didn't seem right. And I suppose that was the first time that I started to question not just my faith, but everything. And then when I got into business, I started doing financial planning. And financial planning, I started in 2000. Ever since I started, it's just been under constant attack by the government. And that started making me question, there's been so many more implementation of legislation and rules and regulation. And they're going, well, hang on, this is a contract. They're just bypassing contract law. So I started to question what's actually happening out there. And I've started to discover that even our authority figures that we are meant to trust are the ones that are keeping us suppressed so that we can't actually be the authentic selves that we need to be.
Mm. Oh, look, absolutely. There's so much in that. And that actually links in a lot with your expert tip. Growth happens in discomfort. So as you've been navigating your way with all these oppressive controls and changes and things, you've been growing throughout all of it.
Well, the first big growth was actually going into financial planning in the first place.
Mm.
I was scared of my own shadow. I couldn't get up. I couldn't talk in front of people. And financial planning is essentially a sales role. And I started in a commission. I was given a little bit of a salary, but it was basically commission only. And I had to either sink or swim. And that was the first stuff that I really needed to get through. And I know for 3 years, I'd wake up every morning worried, scared,
Mm.
it's going to work, had a knot in my stomach. And I was in discomfort for all that period of time. But I kept learning, I kept reading the books, I kept doing everything that I needed to do in order to get through this period. And it all went over that knot in my stomach and getting out of the discomfort. It all happened one night when I went for a walk because I couldn't sleep. I went away with my girlfriend at the time and I couldn't sleep. So I walked for 2 hours in one direction and 2 hours back in the other
Wow.
direction.
Yep.
And I got the answer. And the answer is quite simply is it doesn't matter.
Wow. What an insight after all that 3 years of that pain, discomfort, sleeplessness and everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Let it go.
Look, I was putting way too much pressure on myself to be the perfect financial advisor,
Yep.
to answer everybody's questions, and we can't do that. And that's why that was the insight. It doesn't matter. You turn up and you just do the best you can.
And that's your clarity that you found. And that's just been empowering you ever since, I suppose.
Yeah. So in the business world, that's what's been keeping me going. I've had a lot of challenges throughout the years, which I won't go into, but there's been a lot of challenges.
Yep.
And yeah, it's empowering me through that to this day,
Wow.
24 years later.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Look, if it can help one person, just, release that stress because this is a time of SOS. We're stuck, we're stressed, we're overwhelmed. It's like, and particularly in business. And it is challenging times. We are riding this wave of life. This dog, seriously. Couldn't read about it, hey? But I've also brought along an empowerment share in line with our topic of grow through what you go through, because nothing changes if nothing changes. I say this all the time, and it's you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where real change happens. When we think, feel, or do things differently, and that's when the change comes. And easy to say, a lot harder to do, because you went through 3 years of that discomfort. That was a long time before you sort of had that clarity or that insight or that light bulb moment, I suppose. So yeah, and it also leads into sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, what I think most people try to do is we try to grow, and all growth happens in discomfort.
Mm.
And people are trying to grow in comfort, and we simply can't grow in comfort. So we've got to step out into discomfort. And nobody wants to be discomfort. I remember when Jeff, one of my mentors, at one stage says, "You've got to live beyond the edge." And that didn't appeal to me at all, but he is so right. If you want to break through the barriers, you've got to get into the unknown.
Absolutely. It's that place of uncertainty, right? And it is icky because there's no control there. You can only control what's in the present moment. You're going deep, diving into the unknown, and just you got to take a risk, right?
But the irony is that when you do go into that unknown, that uncontrolled thing, you find resources you just didn't think you had at any stage. And perhaps a person that you might have walked past before, you have a totally different interaction with that person because you're just seeing them in a whole totally different light.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to go into the discomfort.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I are both into Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you're going into that place, right? How good is it though, when it's just there's nothingness in there.
Another really good book that I've been reading to my kid as we go to sleep, and I'm almost at the end now, is The Surrender Experiment.
Oh, you mentioned that to me the other day.
And it's really about a person's journey, or the author's journey, from when he was determined to shut that voice off in his head and just go with life's flow. And he went from a hippie in the 70s or 80s, 60s maybe, I'm not sure.
Yep.
He built a temple. He built the biggest medical online business. I'm right now near the end of the book where he's actually, the FBI, or I think it's the FBI, raided his offices because there was one bad fish. So it's a really interesting book of how he's just gone with the flow with his life, because he's always gone into that discomfort.
Yeah, I love it. Like, that's like, I follow the energy. That's how I live my life.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it doesn't make sense. And I could be chewing my nails. Luckily, I'm not a nail chewer, because I'd had none left sometimes with some of the decisions that I've made that don't make sense, because I'm going with the unknown. So, but that's where the true growth comes. And I brought along a tip today as well. There's a silver lining in every experience, whether it's perceived positive or negative, because life is full of lessons to be learned. And as you and I know, it's just learning and growing, learning and growing, learning and growing.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. So every week on my little show, we like to pull some cards. So we do Bling Angel intuitive card reading, which gains some clarity, insight, and direction about where you're going in life. So I thought, very apt, I'd bring out the growth deck, because we're growing through what we're going through. So I'm just going to shuffle them up and pull a card, and let's just see what message.
I gotta say, Sally, you're such a pro at this. I mean, it's the way I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Love you too. I'll pay you later. So my card says, what can only I do to create the change I desire? Oh my God, you never get a wrong card. What can only I do to create the change I desire? What lands with you about that card, Paul? What's the first thing that drops into
Well,
you?
what lands with me is that the only person responsible for my growth is myself. I can't, and that's why I keep telling my kids, you've got to be responsible for yourself. Nobody is going to change anything for you. So it has to be you yourself.
Absolutely. And it is an inside job, right? You've got to take ownership and responsibility for your life and your choices. That's the only thing that we're in control of, is our choice of how we think, feel, and act, and our perception of things, to see things in a positive or a negative way. And that's how we grow and learn. So yeah, absolutely. I'm getting goosebumps about it too. What can only I do to create the change I desire is get in the driver's seat, right? Get in the driver's seat of your own life. It's your time, your energy. So, manage it effectively. So very cool. So I might just quickly pull another card. Let's just see what else comes out.
I want to tell you one of my sayings is, if you want the biggest breakthrough in your life, confront your biggest fear.
Oh, I love that. It's true. That is so true. So confront your biggest fear to get your biggest breakthrough.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. This is a nice one to end on. Where in my life would kindness be appreciated? What's the first thing that pops into your mind? Where in your life would kindness be appreciated?
I suppose what I'm experiencing in the business world right now is, ever since we've had that bug, the larger the corporation, the less they seem to care about us, the people.
Yep.
And I'm experiencing extreme frustration just dealing with these corporations. So much so that I am losing my temper probably quicker than I should be. So perhaps I should be a little bit more calm, because at the other end, the person that's helping me out, they just following protocol. It's just that the protocol sucks. And the frustration gets taken out on the wrong person. But with that, I've got to say something, right? Just since we talk about growth and all that, I have been helping out a client of mine who has taken control of her brother, because her brother's got dementia. So she's a power of attorney. She's a full-time carer for this person. But as a result, she doesn't have a job. And they're living in a house that's costing $1,000 a week, just rent.
Whoa.
But
yep.
You can't get that on a carer or on any government subsidy. So I've helped her out get her brother's superannuation. And the amount of rigmarole we had just trying to sort this out, 2 superannuations, both of them really gave us the worst time ever. One kept sending us back to get more and more stuff. And why didn't you just tell us in the first place?
Yeah.
As it worked out, I complained about one of the companies. We actually got a $3,000 as part of the complaint. I said, we want $3,000 compensation. So she got that $3,000 compensation.
Yeah.
But what's even better for me is that she was so grateful that I managed to help out with her brother's superannuation. She gave me a bonus of $3,200.
Oh, see, that's the way it works. A little bit of kindness goes a very long way, and it doesn't cost much to be kind. Right?
No,
Just to
it
be
doesn't.
kind. Yeah, for sure. Well, Paul, thank you, thank you, thank you. We've come to the end of our beautiful little discussion today. So thank you for coming on Finding Your Way with Sally and chatting about how to grow through what you go through. So if anyone wants to reach out to Paul, you can find him at superannuationandinsurances.com.au or connect with him at paulwoodward@y7mail.com. So thanks, Paul, for joining us on Finding Your Way, and we look forward to chatting with you again down the track. So thank you so much for coming. I'll pop you down into the green room and we'll just wind up here. So yes, you can join me for another episode of Finding Your Way with Sally Estlin next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, and Thursday at 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And just remember, grow through what you go through, and we look forward to catching you next week. All right, bye. You can learn more about my services and products at sallyestlin.com. Make sure to join me every week for a new episode on the SWE Media Network YouTube channel and wherever you listen to podcasts.